So hello and welcome to another game of ChessUp2. We are going to play on chess.com and I'm expecting to get white pieces today. So if we get the white pieces, we are going to talk about again the c4 and e4 opening. So we are going to head today for the setup of Botvinnik system. Black is 1122. Their name is Mukhtiar, and they are also from Great Britain. So our next move is usually knight c3 to control the d5 square. And then usually we are playing move g3 to try and bring more control to the d5 square. And black is deciding to play d5 straight away, so the possibility that we will play Botvinnik system is probably gone here, but we are going to try and set up the pieces in a similar way. So this is typically like Sicilian reversed for us. And we are definitely going to play bishop g2. And knight takes c3. I actually feel like we might want to be playing the end game. We might want to give black chance to play an end game with us. But the end game doesn't look that promising for us in this scenario. So we are going to capture back with the pawn on b2. Bishop c5 is a fine move. And we need to find out how we want to put our pieces forward. So I'm not sure here about our bishop on c1. Where shall we develop the bishop? So I'm going to offer the bishop for the trade. If you think we are dropping the bishop for free, just think how can we win the bishop back after it's been captured. So the idea is quite simple. We will give a check to the king and then recapture the bishop with queen to a3. And now with queen a3 we are preventing black from castling. So white, the black might eventually play queen e7 to try and help themselves to castling. Bishop f5, quite a simple move. It's controlling this square on b1 as well with the bishop f5, so we need to be careful if you want to go after the pawn on b7. But I feel we can develop the knight and go after the e5 pawn. Knight to d7 protects the pawn. And I think quite natural move, looks castling short. So we have not much of an advantage in this position, but that is fine. Black is playing Queen f6. Queen f6 is an interesting move. And we simply want to go after b7 pawn, so that is the main motivation why I would like to play a move like d3. Queen to e6. I'm suspecting black wants to play move bishop h3 to try and trade the queen, try and trade the bishops. But there is a very nasty jump with the knight to g5, hitting both the bishop and the queen. So that could win us potentially the bishop. So before that is being played, I feel we might want to play something quieter, so not to give away our idea. And I believe quite useful move could be rook to d1 at some point, because rook from d1 will have a nice scope onto the d file, and in some case when you play e4 and we decide to play knight to d4, then if takes, the pawn will be protected. So we are going to try this move. Normally I would like to prefer to play rook a b1, but there is this potential of winning the game on the spot, so I'm going to definitely give it a shot. I'm not sure the rook d1 is the best move, but it's definitely a move that could be played. And black is playing move like c5, which I believe makes lots of sense, because black would like to castle. Black would like to castle. I'm not 100% sure what would be the best move here. My feeling is now that we are going to hit the b7 pawn. And if the b6 is played, now we can have quite an interesting knight takes e5 move, hitting the rook with bishop takes e8. So we are going to play this move. Black is going to castle. And as usual, my idea is that this bishop is more valuable than the rook in the corner. However, there's move knight takes e5. And I don't want to necessarily trade my knight for their queen. I mean, I don't want to trade the knight for the knight on f3. Knight on d7, sorry. And all of a sudden, I'm not so sure it was so smart to take on e5. Probably was better to play knight d4 to force the winning the rook on a8. That was a better move. However, we have to play with the cards that we dealt to ourselves. And I'm not entirely sure how bad it will be if we have two passed pawns in the center, so I assume our best move is to take the knight, even though we don't want to. After queen captures, we're going to play e4. I'm expecting move bishop g4, hitting my rook. Bishop goes all the way to h3. Now I'm totally not sure about our position of our pieces. But something tells me to keep the bishop on g2. We would like to keep that bishop, because it's supporting the pawn on e4, and we eventually want to push the d4 pawn. Queen goes to g4, which makes maybe sense. I don't know if it really does. But I think we are going ahead with our plan and try and push the pawns forward in the center. C takes d4. C takes d4. Actually, I can see that move like f5 could be really interesting for black. We can play now move e5. Oh, queen to b3. So we have that extra pawn in the middle. I believe offering a queen trade might not be the worst idea. We need to be careful if the queen moves back with some bishop g4 pin on our precious rook. So the other rook goes to d8. So I believe everything is protected, so we are going to play rook c1. And the idea is to go play rook c7. Queen g6 makes lots of sense. Black wants to play bishop g4. We can play queen f4. So what's our next plan is to try and infiltrate with our rook onto c7. We need to be careful on some back rankers with the bishop on h3. So bishop g4 happens. We need to stay in contact with the d4 pawn. Bishop e6 is hitting our pawn on a2, but that pawn is well protected. So I would think first to play move bishop f3 to activate the bishop a little bit. My next move would be king g2. And eventually we will decide to push the pawn onto d5. One of the strong ideas looks like rook to c6, threatening the d5s. d5 push, so the black queen will have to move. I'm starting to like that idea a lot. And again, even though it's not totally a Botvinnik system, it's quite a similar opening in a sense that we are again applying lots of pressure on black, who's got like sort of no play at the moment, which makes things so much easier for the way we want to play this game. So even though black didn't spend yet full time, like full 4 minutes from, if we are excluding the increments. So we spent almost 10 minutes. And it shows again, if you spend more time thinking about these positions, you can get much more out of it than your opponent who doesn't spend so much time. And this doesn't really look well for black. Black will remain under pressure. If we are able to play rook c6, then we are trading the queens in a favorable position. So it's difficult to recommend black a move that would be positive. And we are keeping the threat of pushing these pawns forward. So I'm quite happy with what we can achieve here. Move to f5 is indeed a okay move. But definitely that idea of rook c6 seems to be so much stronger. Also, the idea to push the pawn now looks very strong. Because if intermezzo, we have also our own intermezzo with bishop takes e4, and then we should be winning the bishop on e6. Unless... So this is a little bit tactical. So d5, f takes e4, bishop e4, queen g4. Now we won't be able to take here because queen takes f4, g takes f4, rook takes d2. But wait a minute. d5, f takes e4, bishop takes e4, queen g4, d takes e6, queen takes f4, rook d, and then queen c1. That also doesn't look good. If rook c6, f takes e4, bishop takes e4, queen g4 again solves that problem. If I push e5, then bishop d5 seems to be solving that problem. So if d5, f takes e4, bishop e4, queen g4. Yes, that doesn't seem to work. If e takes f5, bishop f5. Also doesn't look all that great. So once again, d5, f takes e4, bishop e4, queen g4. There is actually one move that I can try. Queen h4 with the idea of bishop h5. However, I have less than a minute to play, so I need to go into d5, I think. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. Okay, so I think we are going into a position where we will have extra pawn on d5, but it's not going to be the greatest pawn out there. Queen g4 happens. I'm gonna trade bishop g4. So now I'm feeling like we can maybe try and play rook d4. Actually, I'm thinking very strong will be to play f3 here. Just to make that bishop move one more time somewhere. And then we're going to cut out the rook on with rook c7. We have 1 minute against 9 minutes of our opponent. Rook e5 can be played for sure. So can be rook c7. If bishop e6, we can play d6. And there's also option to play rook d4, threatening the fg4. Okay. This is fair, so we're gonna trade. Takes. We need to play d6. If rook f3, I think d7 is potentially winning. We'll play d7. He's got actually king f7 there as a defense. Rook f7 is losing. But king f8, king f7 seems to be defending. So a6 is also... Oh, when I play rook c8, he's got rook f8. So I can play move rook e2. I'll try rook e2 with the idea of rook e8. Yes, I think this didn't go well. He seems to be playing really, really well here. Just a little annoying. So we need to go back. King e7 is a fine move. And we are low on time. So try rook a7 first. Rook f6 makes sense. So we can play rook a6. Rook a6, I didn't want to play that. It is what it is. So I'm on 28 seconds and I need to really watch my time. So we are going to try and attack the b6 pawn. I'm gonna trade one pair of rooks. It's probably a mistake to take with this rook. Now I can see that he can play maybe this move and then double up the rooks on the... But it's okay. It's actually not gonna be so simple because we can as well play rook a7, b8, so he needs to be really careful. Oh, he's got rook b6, rook b6, rook d2, and winning the a2 pawn. So it appears that we have completely messed this up. Completely. So this is first points for Vienna against Botvinnik, but it's only because I didn't, that f5 pawn, I didn't see how to play in that position, so I guess that's fine. Okay, two, yeah. Now play g4, maybe not the best move. Rook a3, king h4, g5, king h5, rook h3, king g6. This looks actually quite good for them, so I'm not going to go this way. At this point, it's just a dull draw. So this is where we change our strategy a little bit. But the truth is that white has still those checks, and after rook a5 I cannot go king g6 because of rook g5 check. And I have nowhere to hide really with my king, so this can only backfire if I go forward more. However, king g3, I will just try and quickly calculate what will happen if I go king h4, g5, king h5, rook h3, king g6, rook h2, king f5. Yeah, I can't do nothing in there. So I'll just play the repetition and we are having a draw. Interesting. That's the first time I saw how the draw is displayed. Unfortunately, this game I had advantage, but after the f5, I think that the advantage quickly disappeared. But I think I must have made some bad moves as well in the process. So this endgame was not very good for me. But yes, it is what it is. We are playing just for fun, and we need to accept the results that happen. With this, the Vienna is getting ahead, but again, I don't think this was the result of the opening. This was the result of our middle game to end game play. And our opponent played very strong and well deserved the draw. Okay, so this is all for today. I think the Vienna is gonna get some lead over Botvinnik, and but I think that the Vienna type of positions I prefer more. We didn't yet face Sicilian setup, so we will see how that one fares. But anyway, I'll see you later on, guys. I hope you enjoyed this game. You take care.